Welcome to Hills and Hollers. I'm Laura.
And I'm Chris. And this is our 5 seasons on the air now. And we're going to start off strong with elk. Because Patrick, from the Kentucky Gun Company, got a tag here in Kentucky. And then yours truly got drawn for a bull tag here as well. So we're going to start off strong with some Kentucky elk. Oh, by the way, I followed that up with getting drawn for a cow tag here in Kentucky. But wait, 4 Kentucky elk. We're going on a wounded warrior hunt with a Marine that got a tag here in Kentucky. So we are strong on Kentucky elk to start off this season.
Then we'll be kicking it into turkey season. I'll be heading out opening day, putting a bird down on the ground. And after I'm done with that, Chris and Dad head out and shoot a couple of them.
Yep, once I get in front of the camera, the birds start flopping. So, Kentucky is strong this year.
So, we got the whole season ahead of us right now. We got a lot of great stuff coming up, a lot of new people, a lot of new hunts.
Yeah, this is just the beginning. This is the first show.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't even seen anything yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great stuff coming. So, I think they should stick around.
Yeah, stick around, check it out. It's gonna be great.
A lot of good things happening.
You're watching Hills and Hollers, and this is Extreme Hunting in Illinois.
Patrick here in Kentucky going after an elk.
Now, in my case, I put in for the lottery and I got drawn, and I got my elk tag to hunt bull elk here in Kentucky. In Patrick's case, he didn't get drawn for an elk tag, he bought one at a charitable auction. The state of Kentucky gives tags to organizations like Ducks Unlimited, NWTF, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, what have you, and they auction these off to make money. And that's what happened in this case.
So let's send you to Patrick and he'll explain the rest.
I've been trying for years to get a hold of one of these Kentucky elk tags. You know, I live in Kentucky and I see a lot of my customers get drawn for them. I actually sell the tags here in our store. So it's always made me real jealous when one of my customers walks in and says, hey, you sold me a bull tag. You know, I'm glad I did, but I'd also would like to be the recipient of one of those one day. Well, it hasn't happened, but I had a customer come in and he was telling me that there was a commissioner tag that was going up for auction. And these commissioner tags, they're tags that are given to local, like Ducks Unlimited chapters, the National Wild Turkey Federation, and other organizations like that, and they have to raffle them off. My patience got the best of me. I went ahead and put an absentee bid in for it, not thinking that I'd even bid enough to win this tag. And lo and behold, 2 weeks later, I had a letter in the mail saying that I was a lucky recipient of one of the commissioner's tags. The commissioner's tags differ from the general draw tags. The draw tags, when you get drawn, you are told that you're either hunting in week 1 or week 2, and then you also have to apply for a zone. Well, the commissioner tags allow you to hunt any zone that you like, pretty much any land that's open for elk in the state of Kentucky. And if you're unsuccessful in the first week of hunting, you're allowed to go back and do the second week. Once I received one of these tags, or knew that I was going to get one, I first called up our local game warden. His name's Mike Stevenson, and Mike pointed me in the right direction. He knew another warden that was down in eastern Kentucky. Biggin is his nickname.
Look here. Elk done that. Bear bit my thumb off.
Meet Greg Biggin Eisen at the Kentucky Department of Fish and Game. And with him is Vonsel Thacker. You're going to get to meet a lot more of Vonsel later on.
That was my left hook, so it done most of them.
Then he bit me.
Called him up. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Not even meeting the gentleman, just talking to him over the phone. He gave us a pretty prime piece of real estate to hunt elk.
This is a neat place, Patrick. Oh, this is a neat place. Now, down in each one of these hollers, it's been contour mined, and it's all clover. I mean, it's lush green grass.
Well, I went down to select and look around, do a little bit of scouting in the land. Like I said, I wasn't obliged to go to a certain particular zone. And went down there with Biggin, we looked around. He showed me some coal mines that were, they were too easy for me. You know, I thought they were too easy. You could almost drive up to some of these elk and they just didn't seem like enough challenge. And I told him, I said, you know, Biggin, I've been out west before. I just want to make it a little tougher. You know, put a little more challenge and make me do a little more effort. And he said, all right, well, we got this one coal mine and it was in the middle of nowhere. It's called Blue Diamond Coal Mine. I think it's 60,000 plus acres. It's a private coal mine and you had to have special permission to get on it. We obtained our permission. And 60,000 plus acres. I think there were 4 total other hunters allowed on the mine. And it was straight up and down, a couple little valleys, a couple flat spots, but not many. But as you can see, there was no driving. There was very few roads to get in and out. And it was a true tough hunt. How many acres are we playing on here? So, just so I know not to, I mean, there's boundaries marked.
There's 60,000 acres here.
You ain't gonna get off.
Okay.
You're not gonna get out of the property line.
Gotcha. 10-4.
Yeah, that's.
I just hate trespassing on somebody's property.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
too.
No danger that here though.
Good deal.
Start. I wouldn't bugle. Now, what I found up here is when we released these elk, we turned the same number of elk bull calves loose as we did females. So there's a lot of competition here. You know, green tag is the elk we released here.
Gotcha.
You know it was turned loose in 2000 if you got a green tag. That's a 10-year-old bull. You know. I run every one of them out of the truck. You think I ain't meant to be an elk hunter? Look at this elk track.
Let me see that again.
That's an elk track, buddy. My woman says it's a heart because I'm so sweet, but you know.
Luckily, the guys at the State Fish and Wildlife, they knew where the more remote places were, where the more challenging spots were. And, you know, we got a challenge, and that's what I wanted. It wasn't so much the size of the animal that counted. I mean, there were plenty of big elk no matter where you go in Kentucky. But we wanted more of a challenge, more of a do-it-yourself hunt. You know, we camped out, no hotels. We did have our Polaris Ranger, but that was just really to retrieve the animal. We walked everywhere we went, and it was a true Western-style hunt, like what I call Western style, and on the East Coast, which is kind of different. We have it's about 7 o'clock, and we've just got to the spot where we're going to kind of pre-scout, and we're hoping to see some bulls come out down there and feed a little bit, do a little bit of bugling, maybe chase some cows around. Just kind of give us a starting point where we're going to go tomorrow morning, because this is new territory for us. It's something that we're not used to, or we're not used to this particular setup. And we're hoping to kind of pre-locate one before tomorrow morning. Got the cameraman Chris here with us. Luckily he's volunteered to come along with me and help me on this hunt and film it for me. And I have a bull tag, and Chris also drew a bull tag, and he's going to hunt next weekend. And he's hoping to hunt the same spot. I think we're going to be able to work it out. We got 60,000 acres here to hunt. That's just that's unbelievable. Especially to imagine on the East Coast. You know, West Coast maybe a different story because you have so much land out there and the population so spaced out. But in East Coast terminology, to think of 60,000 acres, that's pretty cool. I honestly didn't know that places like this exist on the East Coast, but they do.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. If you guys ever thought about trying to put in for a Kentucky elk tag, it shouldn't be a thinking process. You should just go ahead and do it. It's a no-brainer. It costs you $10 and you get a chance at the best elk herd in the United States by far.
I just love looking at this view. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Opening morning, we got up, got dressed, and got set up in anticipation. You know, that was really building.
All right, guys, going live. I brought a Seiko 338. I'll have to hunt with. That's plenty enough elk medicine. Here's a little tip, and I've made this mistake myself. Right before I go hunting, I always check my scope and to see what power I'm starting on. About a couple years ago, when I was sighting it in at a higher power, like a 15 power. Left it on there, and then when it was time to go hunting, didn't adjust my scope back down. Saw the buck of a lifetime. I couldn't shoot it because it was too magnified. Lesson learned. Won't do that again.
All right, first morning of Kentucky bull season, elk season. It's October 2nd, and we got a bull that's probably down. Hope you guys can hear that, but it's just down there, probably we're guessing maybe 500 yards. And it actually sounds like he's getting a little closer. The only thing that we're worried about is it's hard to get camera footage in such thick brush. You know, it's one thing to hunt an elk, but to actually kill an elk or harvest an elk on film successfully is a completely different story. So we're going to try to find a little open spot, hopefully where we get a little bit better camera footage. He's ready to rock and roll. We don't know what he looks like, we just know he's bugling and he sounds like a mature bull. So we're gonna head on up this trail and try to find a little more open spot. Alright, at Crossroads we've got one or two choices. Either we try to slip down the slope. It's just gonna be a noisy endeavor in the first place. Or we try to wake this guy out and see if he'll come up this way, but you know, he could have a ton of cows down there and have no intentions of coming up this way, which is kind of what it sounds like, so I think we're gonna go with plan A and just try to slip down the slope as quietly as possible and hope he's down the bottom so by the time we get there we don't crash him out of there. I just completed a super treacherous hike down this side of this mountain here. Trying to be as quiet as possible. The bull has moved out a little bit. I'll go find out.
Within the first couple hours, we started hearing bugling everywhere, but the bugling was actually below, and we battled through the thorns, through the briars, cockleburs, and the time we got down to the bottom of the valley, the elk has already moved back up the other side. But due to the lack of scouting, and that was my own fault, I do own my own business, and time, sometimes I just don't have enough of it. So I wasn't able to get out and do the scouting I wanted. But we were kind of hunting and scouting at the same time. We found this really nice valley, had a nice open floor, about as open as we could have in that area. And we determined that that was probably where we were going to set up in the afternoon. Did a little bit of pre-scouting, looked around, went and had lunch, and then came back and settled up on a hillside and waited for the afternoon. It takes a lot to go out and hunt elk with a camera and with a rifle. I could have pulled the trigger probably 10 minutes before you guys even saw, the elk on camera. It was up on a hillside. And we had a shot at it, but we didn't have camera footage and didn't have a camera shot. And it takes a lot of communication between the cameraman and the hunter to make sure that the animal was in the frame. And then half the time when the animal is in the frame, then the hunter doesn't have a shot. So that was a challenge in itself.
Stop. can't know how to shot right now until he gets up there. Oh, he's a really good bull. Huh? I gotta get up a little bit. Right there, can you take him? What do you think, good bull? He's a good bull. You want me? Let me see if I can get him there. Yeah, try it. I lost him. I can't see him. I can drop him in his tracks right now. Shoot him. You got him. You got him. I'm on him. He's down. We did it. I don't know if that was the big dog, but he was a monster sounding bull.
His bugle was sick.
Put him chest first. That was the only shot he presented to us. And luckily he dropped right then. I didn't want him to get too far out. Down in there's another valley, and this thing scoops on down to another valley, and he would be a nightmare to get out. Right now we're lucky, I think.
He's perfect. He's right in the middle of this meadow. We got a road right over here. I am shaking. Wow. He came down off this hill to our right, passed right in front of us where we couldn't get a shot. We had to wait until he got past us.
My first bull out, Kentucky, and of all places, the places where I live, and I truly love Kentucky, without a doubt. And to hunt this kind of animal here is, man, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right, guys, here on Hills and Hollers, we don't do any of these recreation shots. We want you guys to come experience with us discovering that animal for the first time when he's on the ground. So come on. Biggin ought to be happy. Biggin kept on telling us to hunt this point over here because it has a water hole. And this bull came off that water hole. So we didn't really hunt the point, but we got the bull that was sitting on the water hole. There he is. Make sure he's down. First Kentucky elk. He's a big old boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A good 6x6. Nice bull. Beautiful bull. Man, it's a nice bull.
As far as the hunt itself, I was wanting a challenging hunt. The size of the animal didn't matter so much as the effort. I didn't want it to be too easy. If you're sitting at home and you like what you saw and you think you have opportunity at this, you do. Anybody could jump online, jump on the State Fish and Wildlife website, that's Kentucky's website, and you can apply for these tags, and I'm going to keep on applying for them. I mean, it's $10, and actually new this year, you can apply for an archery tag and a rifle tag. It's $20, $10 each way. But first of all, the money goes to a good cause, promoting and helping our elk herd in the state of Kentucky. And second of all, if you get drawn, as you see, I mean, you have the opportunity to hunt elk at probably, this is probably the best herd quality-wise in the United States.
So, congrats to Patrick on his first bull elk ever, and it just happened that it was here in the state of Kentucky.
Plus, you got to see a little bit of my elk hunt. We're gonna get to that next time, folks. You're gonna see my bull hunt, and fast forward a year, I get drawn for a cow tag immediately after the bull tag. You're gonna get to see that hunt too. That's a whole lot of Kentucky elk action coming your way on the next show. You don't want to miss this. Do they want to miss this?
They don't want to miss it.
They don't want to miss that.
Don't miss it.
Where are they gonna see it?
Here, on Hills and Hollers. So there you go. We have a great season coming up, so keep it here on Hills and Hollers TV.
And this is just the beginning. We got a lot of season to come. Season 5, kicking it off here. A lot to go. I'm Chris.
I'm Laura.
Thanks for watching. For more information on today's show, the H&H crew, to watch videos or just to surf on through, check out hillsandhollers.com today.